Hi, I'm Derek, business systems coach for contractors. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to build construction business systems that will help you get out of the day-to-day and enable you to scale your contracting business. All right, so before we get started, big thumbs up, smash that subscribe button. Best way to grow your contracting business, subscribe to the channel. Tons of great content for you weekly coming at you. So this video is going to go through the process of installing business systems in your construction business. Congratulations, you are a step ahead. Many contractors, this is a pivotal, important step in the contracting, entrepreneurial journey. Is you've probably had a business, you've probably been running it for a while, maybe you got some systems in place, but really fine tuning your systems is going to enable you to enjoy the freedom, that you started your business for, the profits, just make everything work so much better and eliminate a lot of frustration. So the first point that we're going to start at the beginning is, where to start, what system should you be working on, how should you initially get things going. So you want to look at your business, and generally you're going to be looking at what's kind of the easiest, low-hanging fruit systems that I can get in place, or secondly, what's the biggest frustrations you have. So what's something that in your business just isn't working. Maybe it could be like organization, could be the guys on site, maybe your sales and marketing is all over the place, maybe you just hate doing sales and marketing, so that's something you want to systematize and delegate. So figure out where's your biggest frustrations, or what would be really easy and give you a big payoff, give you that big leverage to install systems in your business. So that's where you want to start, and do one at a time. Get one system going. It doesn't have to get to perfection, but you should have it in place, implemented, and at least operating fairly well at maybe an 80% sort of level. It doesn't have to be perfect, and then move on to the next one. And that's the way that you systematize a business, is you keep adding systems and keep improving the different functions of a business. Does that make sense? All right, on to number two, the second place. You've figured out which system you're going to get started on. Now you want to make a goal, a plan, and figure out what resources you need. So what's the goal? Where do you want this system to go? What do you expect the outcome to be? What's the plan for implementing it right away, in a little while? Are you going to slow roll it, or are you going to just get going with it right away? Are you going to hire someone to help you with this? And then the resources you're going to need. How much money is it going to cost? How much of your time is it going to take? What are you going to need as far as resources wise before you get started, so that you actually know the journey and what's going to be happening as you implement the systems, instead of just jumping into something. It gets confusing, it gets difficult, and then it just gets shelved and a year later and you still don't have the system in place. So pre-planning, you don't have to kill yourself over it, but at least have a basic plan in place and know what you're going to need. Make sense? Number three. All right, so number three, process and workflow. So this is the big thing of what's the process, what's the workflow. So process, just a sequence of steps. I suggest you start very basic and just the big steps. Fill out the big 5 steps, 4 steps to what you want to accomplish. So if you're creating a system for training employees, what's the 5 big steps to training employees? Or if it's a specific thing that you're training them on, what's the 5 steps? And then from there, you've already got a system. At least you've got a process, and you can run it consistently over and over again. There may be inconsistencies with how it gets done because you just have big steps, but you can start to flesh out and improve the details on each one and build from that base of steps to start systematizing it. The first overall process is the thing to get in place. And then workflows, if you're more of a visual type person, workflows are great because it's like those bubble kind of charts where you've got, your start, this is what you need, and then it goes to the next one, and maybe a decision gets made, and then from there the decision, goes to one way or the other. Maybe not the most exciting, but it's great for training people. And these documents, for processes and standard operating procedures, these aren't something that guys are going to necessarily always be referring to for every job, right? It's just a training device, so that at least when you're training, they have that base of knowledge and training. If your systems are more tech-wise, you're installing some project management software, there's a whole bunch of them out there, and generally they're like Swiss Army knives, right? They've got estimating, they've got client portals, they've got financing portion of it, budgeting, messaging, hit lists. So it's got all this stuff in there. Again, just pick out one single thing, estimating, cost codes. Maybe that's your first system that you want to get implemented, is a cost code system. So just focus on that. Don't even try to overhaul your whole estimating system. Just try to build out small parts and get that process and that workflow going. Pro tip here, if you're doing anything tech wise, it's very simple to create a training video and then have your guys watch it. So just get Zoom or like Loom or one of these, do a screen recording, and then while you're recording on the screen, just simply go through an example or real life estimate or, real life hit list or whatever kind of like techie thing you're doing. Super easy, create a training video and then just have like a folder with them or create like a web page with some links to it, and you got a training system. It's really not overly complicated. You just got to get started, and then you can always build on it as you go. The thought process for creating like standard operating procedures and systems is do, document, and delegate. Those are the 3 Ds to creating systems. And so do is generally like you've done it or somebody on your team has done it, depending what level of business you're at. But generally you've probably done pretty much everything in the business to this point if you're, a newer business or still under, like a couple $1 million revenue per year. So you do it and then you document it. So just again, write out the steps, write out the information of like how you do it, or create a video and then delegate it. So after that, you can then delegate that task. You have to find the right person and have a training program so you're not, not just pushing it off to someone, but delegate it. And that's how you can slowly get stuff off your plate, start to systematize your business, start to build out that structure of, management, all those good things. So if this is like overwhelming or you're still like not sure, reach out to me, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear like what system you're working on. So just drop a comment, let me know what system you're working on, and maybe if you have any issues, I will answer. I'll let you know some tips and tricks of how to do it, or stay to the end of the video and I'll give you a link to get a free course on how to do this with more information. So number 3, that's a big one. All right. So number 4, still with me here, we are going to be talking about implementation. So it's one thing to have the system. All right. So you built the system, and I know it's from great, experience of like building systems and then like putting them in the field and getting the guys to use it. And then it's just like chaos ensues, or it just doesn't get used, or people don't pick up on it. So there may be a bit of like, I don't know if you want to say nagging or, like policing to some degree of like when you implement for guys to actually use the system and use it properly. But you're going to have to be checking in. You're going to have some checks and balances, especially at the beginning. If it's like, if you've got an organization, you've got a number of employees, when you first get it going, don't expect, them just to pick it up and know how to use it and start using it. You're going to have to like have some checks to make sure that it's actually getting used and used properly. Big things on implementation is explaining the why. So why you're doing this and frame it in a way that makes sense to your employees or to the people you're delegating to, of like, this is going to make your job easier. It's going to make the company more efficient. It's going to keep communication higher. It's going to make less problems and headaches for everybody. I'm going to be happier because I know what's happening and I know everyone's, working on a certain process or whatever. So explain the benefits as it relates to the people that will be using it. It'll go a long way with implementation, and be patient. I'm sure you've had this where you train someone, you know how to do it, you understand it, you're like a high level, and then someone else is at a low level. They're also an employee, so they're not as like super keen to learn new things maybe as you are as the the company owner. So you got to have a little bit of patience, expect to repeat yourself, expect people not to catch on the first time. So that's implementation. Moving on to the final phase of building systems inside your business is feedback improvement. So once you have a basic system, you want it to always be improving and growing as a system and becoming more enmeshed in your company. So you want to be asking for feedback generally from your foreman, your managers, your superintendents. These people are the ones that kind of oversee the processes, oversee kind of the bigger picture stuff of like the management on site. So ask for their feedback, and don't be afraid as well to ask the employees feedback if it relates to them. So if they have certain processes or systems, get their feedback. They may not want to talk to you directly, so maybe you may ask your managers to ask their feedback, or someone who's a little bit closer to them, depending on your organization and how things are structured. So that's going to go a long way, because often we're sort of top down. We don't see all the little stuff on the details on the front lines, and we don't understand that maybe a system's not, guys may not enjoy it, they may not like it, they may think it's not working properly, they may feel it's like too corporate or big brother or whatever. So get their feedback on it. So hope that makes sense. Here's to you building your business systems. Check the description below. There is links to a free course, how to build a business that works without you, all about building standard operating procedures, building out systems, how to systematize a business for your benefit. Free course, free to you, great information. Make sure you click on the link in the description, get that for yourself. And as always, check out the other videos that I put out here. Tons of great information. If you want like specific systems that you're getting, I've got other videos for how to like build specific systems for the different functions of your business. See you on the next one.